early 13th century Europe was anything but united. The continent was a patchwork of kingdoms, duchies, and principalities in constant conflict. Poland was divided, Hungary was plagued by noble rivalries. The Rus principalities were fragmented and often at war with each other, and the Holy Roman Empire was entangled in dynastic struggles. No one imagined that a threat would emerge from the Far East. Few even knew that Mongolia existed, and none could foresee that this distant land would forge the largest land empire in human history. While Europe looked toward the Mediterranean, toward the Crusades and its own rivalries, a single man in the East was changing world history. His name was Temujin, but soon he would be known as Genghis Khan. The rise of Genghis Khan is a story of extraordinary hardship. Born into poverty, abandoned by allies, enslaved by enemies, betrayed and hunted, Temujin's path seemed destined for failure. And yet, through intelligence, strategy, and unstoppable determination, he united the tribes of Mongolia. In 1206, he was proclaimed Genghis Khan, the universal ruler. Under his leadership, a new military machine emerged, one defined by discipline, speed, intelligence, and innovation. What made the Mongols unstoppable? Mobility, unmatched by any army in the world. A deadly composite bow, brutal discipline, a sophisticated intelligence network, and a terrifying use of psychological warfare. By the time Genghis Khan conquered China and Central Asia, the Mongol army was the most efficient fighting force on Earth, and inevitably it turned its gaze west, toward Europe. The Mongols did not initially seek to conquer Europe. Their early campaigns aimed to punish the Khwarezmian Empire, whose ruler had murdered Mongol envoys. But those campaigns pushed them westward, across Persia, the Caucasus, and the Black Sea region. It was there that the Mongols encountered the Cuman tribes. The Cumans fled into the territories of the Rus princes, warning of a terrifying enemy from the east. But Europe did not listen. European rulers believed the Mongols, whom they called Tatars, were just another nomadic raiding group. In 1223, Europe would learn how wrong they were. The Battle of the Kalka River was Europe's first true confrontation with the Mongol army. It began with deception. Mongol generals Subutai and Jebe pretended to retreat. The Rus and their Cuman allies chased them for 12 days, believing victory was near. But it was a trap. When the Rus armies were exhausted and stretched thin, the Mongols turned. Thousands of horse archers appeared from the flanks. Arrows rained down in waves. The Rus coalition collapsed under panic and confusion. The Mongols won decisively. Captured Rus princes were executed in a slow, symbolic ritual, crushed beneath wooden boards so that their blood would not touch the ground. And just as suddenly as they appeared, the Mongols vanished back into the steppe. Europe believed the threat had passed, but the Mongols would return. In 1237, the Mongols returned, this time with overwhelming force. They were led by Batu Khan, grandson of Genghis Khan, and the brilliant General Subutai. Their mission was clear: conquer the Rus, then move into Central Europe. Russian cities fell one after another: Ryazan, Vladimir, Moscow, and Kiev. But Kiev resisted fiercely, but the Mongols breached its walls, burned entire districts, and killed thousands. By 1240, the Kievan Rus had collapsed. One of Europe's major political centers had been erased. In 1241, the Mongols launched a two-front invasion. One army struck Poland, another struck Hungary. In Poland, they crushed European forces at Tursko, Chmielnik, and finally at the Battle of Liegnitz. According to chronicles, the Mongols collected ears from the fallen as trophies, a calculated act to spread terror. Meanwhile, in Hungary, King Bela IV gathered a massive army. But the Mongols executed a flawless plan. At the Battle of Mohi, they crossed the Sajo River at night, rebuilt a destroyed bridge under fire, and encircled the Hungarian camp. By dawn, the Hungarian army was annihilated. Europe had never witnessed such military precision. With Poland and Hungary destroyed, nothing stood between the Mongols and the heart of Europe. Vienna was next. Panic spread across the continent. And then, the Mongols turned back, not because they were defeated, not because Europe resisted, but because the great Khan Ogedei had died. Mongol law required every prince to return home and elect a new ruler. Even Subutai, eager to continue the invasion, had no choice but to obey. Europe was spared by a single death thousands of kilometers away. Many historians agree. If Ogedei had lived just a few more years, Europe might have fallen. The Mongol invasions reshaped Europe in profound ways. The destruction of the Kievan Rus paved the way for Moscow's rise. Hungary and Poland rebuilt their defenses with new urgency. Diplomatic relations with Asia expanded dramatically, and the psychological impact was immense. For medieval Europeans, the Mongols were not just invaders. They were a force of nature. Fast, merciless, unstoppable. Chroniclers described them as demons, punishments from God, signs of the end times. The memory of their arrival echoed for generations. Today, the Mongol Empire stands as a reminder of how quickly history can change, how fragile civilizations truly are, and how an unknown power can reshape continents. Europe survived the Mongol invasion not through strength, strategy, or unity, but through a coincidence of fate. The echo of Mongol hooves may have faded, but their impact on world history endures. This was the moment when Genghis Khan's armies terrified an entire continent.